G'day mateys, today a new episode. We will be using an old donated PlayStation 1, pulling it all apart, ripping all the guts out of it, it doesn't work, and we'll be converting it into something quite unique, and something you can use in the bedroom. So leave it with me and we'll get it here on the table. And there we have it, a PlayStation 1 Classic. Now this one was donated to me, it doesn't work. Not actually quite sure what's wrong with it. It turns on, so forth. There's no laser activity, so I'm thinking it's probably a dead laser cartridge. Doesn't matter. I don't need it. What we're going to do, we'll firstly pop out 6 screws and start ripping her open. So let's get to it. This was a 9002 model. And the top is removed. Now the top is in quite nice condition. And that's really important for what we're going to be doing today. So that's great, so we'll move that to the side. So, good old PlayStation. Really, really easy to pull these apart. 240-volt power supply in here. It will be holding some power, so please be very cautious when pulling one of these out. So we'll start firstly by removing the ribbon cables, and then we'll pull out all the screws. Yeah, let's do it. So here's a little board inside. Now, it's been modded, but got a jump lead over here, jump lead over here. I'm guessing the mod chip's underneath. I have no idea. I'll put this in a pile of things to look at. So PU23. Flip it over. Hey, actually, what? Well, here's something weird. It has a jumper wire here to here, a jumper wire here to here, but there is actually no mod chip in here. So maybe that's actually what's wrong with it. Maybe someone started to mod it and didn't complete the mod, and that's why it doesn't work. Bit strange. Huh, there you go. So this is what is left of the PlayStation. We've got a bit of a shield in here. We're not going to need that. Done. So, very light. So we're leaving those in because it looks nice and neat. Top section here. Go back in. And now, wow, it's so much lighter with nothing in it. So we've got a few holes in the back that you can see. This one's a bit of a strange one because this is actually a lid off a different model. So the bottom's a 9002, which is the board that was in it. But the top is off a different model. Probably a 7502 or a 55502. But hey, doesn't matter. It's not really going to matter. I can find a panel to clip in there and trim it off slightly to suit. So what we're going to do, we're actually going to drill a hole in this lid. Bang in the middle of the lid. So what we're going to do is pull this lid off. So we'll pull this apart and get on with that part. Let's flip it over. Now, I'm going to be honest. I've never actually pulled one of these lids off before. There is a spring. What I'm wanting it for, it won't actually need to open. So it doesn't matter if I can't get it back together correctly, but I'm sure I can. So there's one screw over here. Put that in there. There's a little bracket of some sort. I don't quite know how that comes out. Over this side, we've got another screw. Okay, so that came up straight away because that's spring tensioned. So I've relieved that, and then I'll pull that over to the side. That's a bit of jiggery pokery. Oh, so that comes straight out and left the spring in there, so that's fine. There's the spring, so the spring went through there and pushed, so okay, we can figure that out. Pop this side off. That side's out as well. And now the lid should come free. There we go, that's great. So lovely. So what I now need to do is I need to get a hole in the dead center of here. But that's not that hard. If you flip it over, that's a dead center from the injection molding that they use, ABS plastic. So I will get a tiny little drill, centralize it here, and go all the way through, and then we'll drill it out to the larger size for what I need. So let's get some drills and we'll get that sorted. Back in a sec. So I've gone ahead, I've drilled a pilot hole bang through the middle. So that was great. So now we're going to get the slightly larger drill. And we're just going to go straight through there. Always good to have a pilot hole. Keep your fingers away. Normally I would suggest doing this on a bench drill, so you can put it in a vise and then just pull the levers down, off you go. But I currently don't have access to one. So this will have to do for now. Here we go. So straight through. That's lovely. So that's in the dead center. Perfect. So I've just got to keep slowly stepping it up to get to the right size, and then you might get an idea of what I'm doing. Last one. Think that'll do. So we've got a nice big hole through here, easy peasy. We get our rod that we have, got some threads on the end. We need to pop that through here, and then we're going to have to put a washer, so it gets a nice solid base. We then have a cable gland to hold the cable that's going to go through the center hole. We'll then pop another washer on, like so. Then we have a nut that we can put on here. Start that up. I want to run that cable gland towards the back, obviously. So tighten that up with my hand for now. There we go. And then we get our 14mm. And we tighten that up. There we go. Nice and solid. So that's great. Any idea what it is yet? I wonder. So let's see if this is going to test fit. So this is a lid, so we need to pop that in through this way first. Get through that hole. It's a bit tricky to get that through there. Right. So it does fit, just got to get back through that hole again. So it must be a secret to it. There we go. So you put that in first. And that's back to normal. So push that button, it would normally eject. But there's no spring in there at the moment, so that's great. We're actually not going to be using the mechanism, so I'm actually going to glue this lid back down in place, because it is just a display piece. What is it going to be? There you go, the cable gland was exactly the right position, so the cable will be able to come out and do what I need to. So that's great. So we'll just pop these brackets back on, get the lid securely fixed, and we'll go on to the next step. So pop this one back in, so here's this one here, put it in down through there, like so. Grab the screw, put it in place, screwdriver, and in it goes. So now we'll move over to the trickier side. So we've got the spring back in here, we've got this section in here, and then we just now push that back down, and we pop back in the single screw. Pop that back in like so, and if I push this button it should flip. But there we go. So push it and it still flips. So not a problem, nice and spring loaded, so that's great. But I'm not needing that, so at a later stage I'll pop some glue just in the corners in here, and we'll actually glue that down and stop it from doing that. Well, also, because the power supply is no longer in here, the reset button, see here, it falls down. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to flip that over, and once it's in this position here, I'm going to drop a little bit of hot glue just onto here, and that will then keep the reset button in the up position, so it'll just annoy me that it's sunk. So we'll do that hot gluing bit next. So let's get on with that. Let's get our glue gun on the bench, plug her in, and we'll stop that reset button moving. So glue gun is ready and raring to go, so we'll tip this upside down and we'll pop just a bit of glue in there, just not a bit on the other side just in case. And that, hopefully, there's a little stand, should stop it from moving. So we'll give it a couple of seconds to set, and then we'll give it a try. So that glue has now set, so we'll flip this around, and there you go, that's nice and popped up and not going to go anywhere, so that's great. So now we've got to go ahead and run some cable through here, so let's grab that cable and start threading. So here is the cable, got a switch on it there, might give away what it is. So now we have to pop this through here, you can see just into that hole there. So we're going to just feed it straight up and through. Let's see how we go. Oh, yeah, looks like it's working. So there we go, it's come through. There's a bit of heat shrink on here which you need to slide down so we can get this up to do what we need to do. So that's all the way through. See that there? Beautiful. Now, there's an insulator here because this is all double insulated. There's no earth, so we need to keep that intact. So that goes back in here to make it electrically safe. So I'll get the next bit and pop it on, and you might be able to figure out what this is. So now I have it. The next part, so we need to reattach this onto here. So I made note earlier of where the wires go. So we need to just push that back into position so the locking wires can lock in. So we grab our first one, and we push that in like so. That's now locked in. Move this round to the other side. Just go back in here, push the pins back down so we can get these cables in. Be a little bit tricky. Push that in, push the locking pin back down. There we go, they are now reconnected. So let's pull this wire back through. And we can reconnect this the way it was intended. So it just clips down, put that wire down a little bit more, and there we go. Yes, we are making a PlayStation 1 bedside table lamp. So that's the lamp holder in place, all done. The wiring is through here. We've now just got to route it through the base and out the back, and put on our lampshade. So I've just got a generic lampshade for now, but I will get something that has all PlayStation 1 printed on it, which will kind of look funky. So let's just get the rest of it happening, and we'll make it start going on. Awesome. One thing we need to do is, there's a bit of heat shrink here that goes through here and goes over this terminal here. That's how it was manufactured originally. So we need to move this screw out of here, like so. Pull that back. That goes across, and the heat shrink just slides hard over, so there's no issues. Cable clamp. Pop the screw back into that cable clamp like so. And tighten it up. So what we're going to do, the cable is actually going to run over this way. That's going to go out through the back hole here. And then we can turn it on and off with a normal lamp switch. That was the easiest thing for this. I may look at upgrading it later in the future and actually using the power switch on the PlayStation front to turn it on and off. But for the time being, to see proof of concept, to see if it works, this is what we're going to do. So let's grab the other section and give it a bit of a twirl and see how we can go. Routing the cable over this way, I'm going to pop one of these, and that's a strange thing to use, it's from a curtain rail. I'm going to pop this in here, and using a cable tie, then just tie the cable in here, just as a secondary cable relief, so if anything gets pulled on, it doesn't cause any damage. So to do that, we'll just pop this screw out. We'll pop it through here. tighten that up like so. That's nice and firm. Then I can run the cable over here. We've got a smaller cable tie that we can hook around here like so. And put that through the cable. So we'll pull the cable over this way. If we pull that nice and tight, there we go, that's great. So we can chop that off. And that means it then comes out here, and no matter how much you pull, it's not going to put any pressure on here whatsoever. And that's nice and straightforward. So, move this back over to our base. We'll spin it around the correct way. And then what we should be able to do is to pop this on here like so. And we can screw it down. And there is a nice bedside table lamp. There is a hole in the back here, so a few little holes, so I will in time get some stickers to go in here, I guess. And through here I'll organise a 3D printed part, but for the time being I'm just going to fill the hole up with a little bit of hot glue. So I'll do that now, pop the bottom off, fill it up with hot glue, make it look all nice and flush, and that'll hold the cable in and stop anything going in there. And proof of concept, it's going to look pretty good, so we'll finish it off and we'll show you what it's like once it's done. So what I've done is I've got a little piece of plastic off some packaging. I've cut it to size to fit in here. I've drilled a hole, then put a slice in it so I can slide the cable through it, and I've glued that in position. And now I'm going to fill this area here with hot glue and make it nice and flush. So let's give that a go. This could turn into a disaster. Okay. Roll that through, just try to make it nice and level. Just need a little bit more just here. Okay, we'll wait for that to set. We'll see how it looks. So you can see the hot glue's sealed that up all nice and well, so it's not going to cause any issues. When I went to pop this back in position on the test fit, I noticed that there's a separator here for the power supply, and because of the extra cable strain relief I put in, it was getting in the way. So I've just with the cutters, I just went in here, I went snip, snip, and I bent it over. That means if I now pop this here, it now snaps together. So we need to put our screws back in, which are just over here. There we go, that is now all together. So what we'll do, we'll quickly pop some glue in the lid here, just down here. It won't come up very far because that strain relief cable I put in. I'm just going to pop a little bit of glue just along this edge, just to stop that from coming up. So we've still got our glue gun here ready to go. So pop that up, and just pop a little bit of hot glue just in here, like so. Close that up, and that'll set. We'll lean it forward a little, and that will then push the glue forward into position and set. So we'll just wait for that to end, and we'll go on to the next couple little steps. Now this was actually on the original base for the light that I peeled off. It's sticky, and it was in there so we could get to the bolt. It explains that it's a E14 small Edison screw type globe to go in here, and no more than 40 watts. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to pop this over. I'm going to stick this on the bottom, like so. So then, if anyone ever looks at this in the future, they have all the safety ratings. So it tells us it's double insulated, indoor use only. It tells us what it originally was. And the original lamp that I purchased was just a $10 lamp from Kmart. So that's great. That's all ready and ready to go. So we'll go grab the lampshade and put him on, and I can show you what it looks like. So we've just gone and taken this off, which holds the lampshade into position. Here's the lampshade, still wrapped, with this all wrapped in its plastic. I do want to get one that has all PlayStation logos printed on it, but I haven't found one that suits yet. So I might have to get one printed. So all we do to pop this on, pop it over the hole, like so. Reach in, like so, turn it up, and that is now on. Actually, with it being grey, it actually does match quite well. So let's have a look at how that looks. There we go, looking pretty schmick. So we'll go grab a globe, we'll plug it in, and we'll show you how it works. And then I'm going to ask your opinion on something. So I want you guys to obviously like, subscribe and comment, because I've got another idea that I could do with this, but I need your input to say whether yes I do it or do I just leave it the way it is. So let me grab this globe and we'll hook this up on the bench and we'll show you it working. So the only Edison screw type that I've got that's suitable is a compact fluoro, but I will replace it with an LED if they're available. I don't know, I haven't checked. So we'll just screw this in like so. And the moment of truth, we have our on-off switch right here. Sorry, this might blind you guys. And there we go. That lights up. So let's get a better shot of that for you so you can check it out. And then I'm going to ask you, do I do the next part of this project that I'm thinking of doing? So let's grab this camera off here and we'll give it a go. So there is our lamp. It's a bedside table PlayStation 1 lamp. Let's have a bit of a squiz. Come up, and there's the lamp, obviously. So that's what we've done there. But I have another idea to make this a little bit better. What would you think if I was to put a PlayStation 1 controller here? Okay. Put your comments down below and tell me what you think. Now, do I put the classic controller in, or do I put the dualshock controller on it? That's another question to ask you. So, do we do it? Should we not? Let me just go grab one, and I'll hold one up, and we'll have a look what it looks like. You guys can vote yay or nay. So, do I mount a classic controller, or do I go ahead and put a dualshock controller? What do you think looks better, the dualshock or the classic controller? Currently I've just held it there with a cable tie so you guys can have a bit of a look, but I'd actually, what I'd probably do is remove the cable at the top and then pull all the guts out of the controller and drill a hole straight through, and then I can actually put it on from the rear and then put the shell back together and clamp it down through the pipe. So what do you think, classic controller or dualshock controller? Give me your thoughts on that, guys, and tell me what you think of the idea of recycling old consoles into usable objects for today. As you know, this console wasn't working, so instead of putting it in the bin, let's upcycle and use it for something new. So thank you very much for watching today, guys. If you liked the video, click on the like, don't forget to subscribe, tell your friends, share the video, and I'll look forward to your comments below. Bye for now.